Hello everybody, Joe Locklear here. If you're from Jacksonville, Florida, and if you have anything to do with the real estate investing business, I'm sure you know who I am. But if you don't know who I am, I do want to take just a few moments to tell you a little bit about myself. I bought my first duplex here in Jacksonville in 1981. Kind of gives you my age. I'm 61 years old. And since then I have purchased, held, renovated about 700 houses. I've actually bought and sold about 700 and renovated about 300 of those. I went and got my general contractor's license in 1988, and so I've been in and out of the real estate investment business. I've been back in full-time for about the last 13 years. Spent a total of over 20 years in the business. So I have been through the school of hard knocks. I've done well, been up, been down. In the last 3 months, I bought 3 houses, so I'm still operating, and actually that was a slow month. My son Adam works with me now. We have a group of family companies that we own and operate, so I'm not just a guy that used to do it, I'm a guy that does it every day. You know, been up, been down. I survived the 2007, 2008 mortgage crash. Yes, I got hurt, but I got through it. So I've been up and I've been down, and I can tell you what to do and I can tell you what not to do. You know, what's important is I still make my living buying, selling, and holding real estate. I don't sell education for a living. I sell houses for a living. I buy houses for a living. I renovate houses for a living. I've been doing it a long time, and I really, really enjoy doing it. I'm in the residential business, the residential housing business. I don't do big apartments. I've done a few small apartments, and I don't do any commercial. I'm very specific in what I do, but I do it in a lot of different ways. Just to clarify, I am not a real estate guru. What I am is a local guy who's done well in the real estate business. I have a passion for teaching. I've been the educational director of several REIAs, been the president of more than one REIA, been vice president, served in a lot of official capacities. I have been doing this a long time, and the one thing that's always been constant is I have always had a passion for teaching. And if you'll excuse my French, I'm damn good at it. I am a good teacher. I have the knowledge, and I can impart it to you. Just to give you a little bit of personal information, you probably noticed from my dialect that I'm not from New York City. I'm a local guy from here in Jacksonville, Florida. Drive a pickup truck. I've got a boat under the shed beside my house. Drive a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Love it. Now, my wife's from Ohio. She's kind of a hybrid. She drives a Mercedes and a John Deere tractor. So that's who we are. Most of the people here in Jacksonville that are in the real estate investing business know us personally, and I hope you'll get to know us a little bit too. I like to say I'm a charter member of the Good Old Boys Club here in Jacksonville. Now, if I ever stop buying houses and begin selling education for a living, then you can call me a guru. Right now, you can just call me Joe. Let's talk a little bit about real estate education and what your options are. Well, one option is go to the gurus. So who are the gurus? And before I begin, and you get all mad at me and tell me, oh, you're just putting all these people down. No, I'm not putting them down. What they do, most of them are very honest, and they're worth what they do. It's just not the way that I want to do things. So let's just talk about what a guru does. Most of them have limited techniques. In other words, the guru goes out and learns and even perfects a certain technique, at most maybe 2 techniques that are related, like buying foreclosures and buying short sales. Maybe they have this technique that they've gotten very, very good at, and they teach it. And if you listen to them, they're going to tell you that they're going to give you a promise of riches. If you'll just do what I show you, if you'll follow this technique, it works. I have a system. You probably heard all these words. You need a system. And this is a system that I have developed, and it works. If you just do what I show you, you're going to get rich. Sound familiar? Certainly it does. We've heard it over and over and over again. You know, you buy in free, or cheap. You sign up for their email list, and pretty soon, you've got an opportunity to spend a few dollars and buy in, and for the few dollars you get a little bit of information. And that information is given out to you in small amounts over a period of time. It's a whole system that's set up. You buy in cheap and they upsell. In other words, when you hear the words, time to move on to the next level, or are you ready to move to the next level, what you need to do is grab hold of your wallet, because it's about to get expensive. And they have some good information, but it is very, very expensive. And again, you buy in low. By the time you get to where you need to be with them to get some real information, you have literally spent tens of thousands of dollars. I have people that come to my local classes here in Jacksonville and walk up and say, wow, you just told me everything that so-and-so told me, and I spent $20,000 to get that information. And I tell them, well, I'm sure the guru appreciates that you spent that much money. You can spend thousands of dollars, but if the information doesn't fit you, your chance of success is infinitesimally small. The chance of success, or the success ratio of these gurus, if they would tell you the truth, is very, very small. They may go through 1,000 students to get one that's really successful on a long-term basis in the real estate business. And there are some reasons for that. It's not that what they have to offer doesn't work. That's not the reason. Does one size really fit all? Let's analyze this. They have a technique and they tell you it'll work. Just do it. But is it for you? Does one size really fit all? The problem with the gurus is that most of them omit any kind of self-analysis. They have to tell you their product works and will work for you because that's what they have to sell. And they make their living selling that product. I'm not putting them down. That's just honestly, that's what they do. Most of them are very, very good at it, and they make a lot of money. So, but the problem is it omits any self-analysis. Your assets, your ability, your background, how much money you have in the bank, whether you have a self-directed IRA, whether you're broke, whether you got $1 million in the bank. They ignore that. And the main thing they ignore is timing. How much time do you have to put into the real estate investing business? And how long before you retire? When do you need to be, wealthy? When do you need the money? So we're all different. There are so many factors that are totally ignored by the typical real estate guru. They tell you just follow the plan, and they tell you anybody can do it. I had one tell me that he recruited his waitress and she made millions of dollars. You may have heard that story. It's been told about 1 million times. So basically, they tell you you can do it. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you need to make sure that whatever you get involved in is really going to work, not just for anybody or for everybody. It's got to work for you. There is no magic bullet. There's no magic technique. Almost everything that the gurus teach works. The problem is, will it work for you? Okay? So I want you to know that there's a different way. There's a better way, and there's a better approach to real estate education and real estate investing education. You need to begin with self-analysis. If you omit this step, you are making a major, major mistake that'll cost you a whole lot more than the tens of thousands of dollars that you spend for the courses of the gurus. Do not omit this step. You've got to begin with self-analysis. Your assets, your abilities, and your timing are critical to what you need to do in the real estate business. There are a lot of different techniques, and they may all work, but you've got to find out what's going to work for you right now based on your assets, what you have to work with, your abilities, how much time you have, and more importantly, when do you need the income? When do you need the money to start? Do you need it next week? That's possible. Do you need it at retirement in 30 years? That's a piece of cake. So basically, you have got to begin with the self-analysis. Once the self-analysis is done, it's going to point you to a technique that will work for you. But to know that, you got to have somebody that'll be honest with you, not somebody that's trying to sell you a package, somebody that'll say, okay, this is the up, And this is this is the good part and the bad part of wholesaling. This is the good part and the bad part of building a rental portfolio. This is the good part and the bad part of buying foreclosures and flipping them, of retailing. You've got to have somebody that's going to be honest with you and that has the knowledge and the experience to be able to help you in this area. You know, and then you devise a business plan. You've got some advice. You've done the self-analysis. Now you devise a business plan. Not something 50 pages long, a few pages long, detailed enough to get you started and point you in the right direction. That business plan, you'll need 1 year's business plan to begin with. I mean, you'll base it on your long-term goals, but you need 1 year's action plan, and then you build it, base it on your assets, abilities, and time frame, and then you put it into motion. To do that, you need to get some help, but you need to get real help from somebody that's going to look at you and see what your situation is. Specific expert education is what you need on the, not only in the self-analysis, but now that you've decided this is, let's say you decide that you want to be a wholesaler. Not that you want to be, but you need to be. Maybe you don't have a lot of cash, but you've got a lot of time, and so you decide, I want to begin with wholesaling. Then you need someone that can teach you to be a wholesaler. Not someone who has a course, but someone who's done it, who knows the pitfalls, who knows where all the skeletons are buried, who can tell you what to do and what not to do. You know, one of my students, let's call him Jason, that is his first name. I bought a house from him 2 days ago. He made $10,000 on the deal. Why? Because I taught him how to wholesale. He did exactly what I told him, and he found a deal, and I bought it from him. Now, this is one thing about what I do. I don't just teach, I do business. I do business with my students. My students do business with me. And I don't make a living selling education. I make a living buying, selling, and holding and managing real estate. So that's one of the big differences in me and the guru. Not just my approach to the business, but what I do to make a living. So you need some specific expert education. You need some motivation and some direct mentoring. Not some guy that you pay $3,000 a month to call up and let his assistant answer your questions. You need a cell phone number to somebody that knows what they're doing. It'll take a few minutes to help you out. You need to be able to pass emails back and forth and to be able to really, really get some help and get some support. So how do you do it? You join ProREIA University. Before I explain what ProREIA is, some of you don't know what a REIA is. That stands for Real Estate Investors Association. There is a national group and many chapters that are all around the nation. And some of these are as little as 20 people, some are as big as 1,000 people. So what they do, and here's how your typical REIA, or Real Estate Investors Association, operates. You pay your dues, $300–400 a year. Some are more, some are a little bit less, but about $300 is the basic entry point. And they have monthly meetings. At those monthly meetings, they usually bring in a guru. And that guru stands up and they do a little dog and pony show, and they tell you why they have a package that'll make you rich. And you buy that package. It may cost $1,000, $2,000, $500, but whatever you pay, 50% of that income goes to the local REIA. So the speaker makes some money and your REIA makes some money. That's how they keep your dues lower. But you're going to pay one way or the other. So in these REIAs, you know, they just, I was a part of them for years and years, and I always, when these speakers came, people would ask me, well, what do you think? Should I buy that? And I would just kind of change the subject. You know, how's the weather? Because I didn't want to lie to them, and I didn't want to lead them on. So I never really fell into that mold. So what we did, my son and I decided that we wanted a REIA, but we wanted a different type of REIA. We came up with the name ProREIA, which stands for the Professional Real Estate Investors Association, and we do things quite differently. First of all, we're privately owned. We have no board of directors. I mean, I was so sick of being a part of a board of directors, people that were elected that had no experience, didn't know anything about the real estate investment business, and got to make decisions for the group. That's not for me. It's that old saying, you know what a camel is? That's a horse that was put together by a board of directors. My son Adam and I own this organization, and we operate it the way that we see fit. We have local meetings, and in these local meetings we will give some education, or we'll have a local attorney or someone come in, but they're mainly for networking. And we do buy, we sell, we do all the things that a lot of the other REIAs maybe they frown on a little bit because they don't think you should do business with each other. Well, we do. We think everybody ought to be successful, and we're a very open group in that manner. Now, even though we have local meetings, all of our education is 100% web-based. When we began ProREIA, the first thing we began working on is ProREIA education. Now, I've been in the real estate education field for many, many, many years. I have developed probably 100 courses, and I took those and I refined them and I made them better. I struggled with the video process and how to put them together, and what you're seeing now in this presentation is the format that we use for all of our education, and it is all on the web. We have ProREIA members in Israel, in Australia, in many different cities in the United States, because they can participate and get the education from right where they are. Now, a lot of them like to come to Jacksonville, and I'll go out to lunch with them. We'll go to breakfast, and I'll help them with their business plan. Just because you're not in Jacksonville doesn't mean you shouldn't be a member of ProREIA, and you shouldn't enjoy the benefits of ProREIA University. The concepts that we teach are universal. The location may change a little bit and the numbers may change, but what we do you can take advantage of no matter where you are. I'm going to be honest with you, I feel that we have the very best real estate investing education on the planet, bar none. I'll put our product up beside anybody's. And so what you need to do, and what we do at ProREIA, you begin with self-analysis. We have a series of classes that we call our ProREIA University classes, and then we have many, many special classes. We get into some aspects of real estate that might be for the more experienced investor, but we begin with someone who knows nothing about real estate at all. And we have these classes online for you. We begin with self-analysis, business planning, and if you want to come down and meet with me or call me on the telephone, I'll help you with your business plan. We progress to specific techniques, specific classes like wholesaling, retailing, internet advertising. We actually have a class on just about anything in the real estate business that you're going to need. It's all inclusive. When you join ProREIA, you get everything. You will never receive an upsell. You'll never hear me tell you it's time to move on to the next level. You'll get instant access to all of our education. Now, just to let you know, I'm not in the education business. I do not need to sell education to make money. I make money with a small group of family companies. Now, if you're here in Jacksonville, you may do business with those companies. Maybe if you're not, you still might do business with us. We don't put any pressure on you to do that. So since I make my living with those companies and by buying, selling, renovating, and managing property along with my son Adam, I don't need to sell you education. I can give you the truth without regards to what I'm going to sell you. You then progress to some technique-specific classes, and then we have some advanced education on asset protection and on trust and those types of things. We develop at least one new class every month. So this is an ongoing process. We all grow and we learn together. Okay, the $25,000, $24,000 question, hopefully it won't be that much, is what does it cost? What does it cost to be a member of ProREIA? Well, I might answer, what does it cost not to be a member? Thousands of dollars. But I want to tell you that you do not need to spend the big money with the gurus to learn how to invest in real estate. Our education is the best on the planet, period, bar none, and it's certainly the most comprehensive and the most inclusive. I have spent 20 years putting this education together. I spent the last year, revising it, getting it up to date, adding to it, doing new classes, and getting it in a professional video format. And, we have the Locklear family of companies here in Jacksonville. We own a general contracting company, a real estate sales company, or a realtor as you would call it. That realtor has a management division, and we make a good living here in Jacksonville, Florida. What would be the fair value of what I've described to you? I mean, I sat down and thought about it, and I see what other people charge, and I think, if you're going to give them, $10,000 by the time you get through with their process, I think, if we said $60 a month, if we gave you access to ProREIA University for $60 a month, that would be a very fair value. But again, I don't need to sell education to make a living. Therefore, I asked Adam to look at our cost. Adam's my son. I said, look at our cost. See what it cost us. Now, he neglected the money that I spent in developing this, and he just said, okay, our ongoing expenses with everything we do is probably somewhere between $25 and $35 per month per member. So what does that mean to you? It means that you're going to be able to join ProREIA for $29 per month. Now, there will be no contract. You have no commitment to continue. You can cancel anytime. So you're going to risk $29 to become a ProREIA member. Why is this price point so low? It is because we hope in the future that maybe you'll do business with us or with our companies. Maybe you'll buy one of my wholesale properties. Maybe you'll take my wholesaling course, find a good deal, and sell it to me so that I can keep it or I can resell it. We make a living in the real estate business, not in the education business. The education business is what we do to build our other businesses, and we're willing to do it at or even a little bit below cost. $29 a month. I have no thing to tell you that this ends tomorrow or that we're only going to take 100 people. That's not true. That's not how I do business. I am offering you a ProREIA membership for $29 a month. No upsell. Everything. $29 a month is what you will pay. Join with us. Join ProREIA. I hope to meet you in the near future, and my best wishes for your continued real estate success. I'm Joe Locklear, and I will see you again, I hope.